Weirding Way Media.
So normally I do a cold open, but you and I have spent all of like 5 minutes talking. So it's like, hey, let's do a cold open. Friend? Question mark? Question mark? Yeah, soon to be friend. I feel like though, if someone asks you, hey, want to watch Volunteers from 1985, and you sit through the movie, by the end of it, that person who suggested the movie to you might not be your friend anymore.
Not if they're Oriental. No, not if they're Asian. Yeah.
God, oh my God, it is just
there's a lot of words thrown out there that I'm like, wow, that's not PC anymore, is it?
I'm not sure it was PC at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this episode of the Kulturecast, then you know we're going to be talking about 1985's Volunteers. I am still the host of this show, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of many, but I am joined by a first-time guest and a podcaster in his own right. He is the host of the Hollywood Outsider podcast and a film critic, which is, what we all call ourselves because that's what we do sitting here talking about film. Your friend and mine, Mr. Aaron Peterson.
Hello. Hi. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. Does that count? Like, does that give me any extra validity?
That counts more than. I think so. There was a time where Rotten Tomatoes was like the dirty word of the industry, and now I think we've kind of like cooled off on it. So probably okay to start saying that now. They're not rounding people up like they used to and shooting them in the head for being on Rotten Tomatoes. You remember that,
not anymore.
Right?
Not anymore. I was hiding a lot.
The Rotten Tomato raids of 1985. Jesus,
you don't know what you're talking about, film critics. You don't know films. All right.
Famous last words. But on this episode of the Kulturecast, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you first, Aaron. If people were to go and check out your show, the Hollywood Outsider podcast, what would they find? What would they be listening to over on your show?
Well, ours is like a weekly entertainment podcast. We're talking about, obviously, movies and TV. And each week we try to have a separate topic that's kind of relevant to whatever's going on at the current time. We used to do a lot of, topical news, but now, by the time you do a podcast, it's already late. So We try to just keep the topics wide open and fun and broad, and reviews, of course, from films. And we try to keep it light, try to have fun.
Having fun. If we're doing this and we're not having fun, we shouldn't be doing it. Absolutely. Nobody should be listening to it. You guys aren't having fun, then we're not having fun listening. So,
and it's for people that like all kinds of movies. So if you like Michael Bay, you like Paul Thomas Anderson, whatever it is, we try to cover it all fairly, mostly.
Fair. I throw that in right at the end, though. Yeah. fair as you can be.
As fair as you can be. There's some things where I just can't get over it. So It just is what it is.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, there's just some things that I can't get over on this show either. One of those things being this movie. So we're going to be talking about 1985's Volunteers.
One has generosity.
It's not that I can't help these people. It's just that I don't want to.
The other
I'll have that town running like Pittsburgh.
has dedication.
My mission is here.
One has charm.
You are the most crass, arrogant human being.
The other has diplomacy.
I'm gonna go.
Now the Peace Corps has both stars from Splash. Tom Hanks and John Candy, Volunteers. Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
So the film was directed by Nicholas Meyer. It stars Tom Hanks. Somehow it stars Tom Hanks and John Candy and Tom Hanks' future wife, the one and only Miss Rita Wilson, and Tim Thomerson and Getty Watanabe. And wouldn't you know it, Tom Hanks plays a thoroughly unlikable character who goes into the Peace Corps by switching places with his roommate, the one and only Xander Berkeley. And along the way, he meets Rita Wilson and John Candy, who plays a character that, again, feels like a character only John Candy could ever have played. Aaron, I'm going to kick it to you first. Was this the first time you'd watched the film? And if it wasn't, when was? And what did you think rewatching it for this episode? Also, kind of want to apologize. I had never seen this movie before.
Nothing to apologize. I literally saw it in the theaters when it opened in 85. True story.
Wow.
True
wow.
Story. I was a big Tom Hanks fan, especially, people You know what's sad is today, no one remembers he was one of the funniest leading actors of the 80s. Like one of the funniest.
This is like the third time that this has come up now because we did The Burbs, we did Big, and now we're doing this. And it's like, this was a guy who was a comedy actor. Like through and through for almost almost a decade, essentially the entire run of the 80s, more or less.
Until the early 90s. Yeah. Early 90s. I mean, he went Dragnet. He did a rap song in Dragnet.
Yeah. That City of Crime. Bum. I've already covered it with Father Malone and Heather. You want to talk about an episode that goes off the rails? that episode.
We're just in time. We have stumbled onto a major crime. I know that whole song by heart. It's sad.
Dan Aykroyd is the best part of that movie, and it's a role that is unlike any other. It's a role only Dan Aykroyd could do, right?
You want a side tangent? I don't know if you want a side tangent, but Dan Aykroyd, I argue, one of the best comedic actors to ever work and never gets the credit that he deserves.
I agree. He's also like a genuinely weird dude. Have you ever seen the video of him chain smoking cigarettes in a hotel room?
He's so weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk to you about aliens tonight. Do you want to work in this industry again, Dan? Because like people don't take kindly when people are weird in the 90s. Now nobody cares, but that was like a big deal. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, you know as much as I do clearly about Dan Aykroyd and his real life family who were all ghost hunters, and then Ghostbusters was like it was like a passion project of his, right? To the point where it was like impossible to film.
The original treatment was nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah. So he's an odd bird. Sorry, that was a side tangent.
No, but speaking of odd birds, got John Candy in this movie who
yeah. I saw he's basically playing, he's just auditioning for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles here. But this is I saw it in the theater. I recognized immediately, okay, they're trying for satire. I don't know if you hit satire. The thing I remember the most is, why can't Tom Hanks keep an accent? That's the thing that I remember the most, because he's this Yale snooty whatever throughout the entire film, but he completely loses his accent every other scene, maybe? I don't know.
I had never seen this before. And I wanted to watch Tom Hanks movies that aren't necessarily the ones everybody's seen. But I mean, again, watching Forrest Gump this month. So what the fuck do I know? But at the same time, I haven't seen Forrest Gump in a decade plus. So it was more a revisit for that. But I had never seen this before. So I sat down to watch it, and I've seen it 3 times now. And the first time I watched it, I couldn't figure out why anybody would make Tom Hanks as unlikable as his character is meant to be. And it's like unlikable. But it's like they realized halfway through the movie, oh, right, it's Tom Hanks. And there's nothing we can do about him being him being likable is harder to do than him being it's impossible to make him unlikable is kind of the issue with Tom Hanks. Like there's
extremely. Yeah.
I haven't seen a movie where he's unlikable, even when they're trying to paint him as unlikable, which they do with really broad strokes here in the first 10 minutes. I don't know how else you make someone unlikable by having them playing cards, not ripping guys off at cards, but winning and then leaving and then banging his roommate while Xander Berkeley's waiting outside. Like you're painting him pretty broadly as a big asshole, but it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work from the first frame even.
Okay. I'll tell you, this is where we might differ. I kind of enjoy the movie. I don't love it. I don't think it's great. It's one of those where it's like, it's maybe a 5.5, but I got there's legitimate times where I laughed out loud. I mean, there's some clever stuff, breaking the fourth wall with the subtitles. I thought that was really clever. Just probably in the wrong movie, but it still worked for me. So there's a lot of those things. And then he delivers some lines that really pop.
Well, I don't dislike this movie. I just think the kind of initial conceit of this movie of having someone like Tom Hanks as the lead in a movie where he is meant to be a character who's going on a journey. But the spot where he starts is just, again, like you mentioned with the accent, it's like the movie forgets who he was at the beginning of the movie about halfway through the movie. And that's when the movie for me finally started really moving along, is when John Candy gets kidnapped by the communists, when Tom Hanks gets brought into the kind of the big fortress of the black marketeer Chung Mi. Like that's when the movie kind of starts really hitting its stride, which is only about like 30, 40 minutes in. But at the beginning of the movie, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, have you guys seen Tom Hanks in a movie before? Like, he's just so lovable and likable, and you're just doing everything you can to make him this kind of misogynist turd. And like, they do drop it pretty quickly into them getting to Thailand. But up until the moment he's kind of off the plane in Thailand, he's just so it's just like somebody doesn't know what Tom Hanks's best qualities are. They're writing against them as hard as they can.
Well, I feel like this was his attempt to break his typecast, because I think he had been typecast. And I mean, this was around the time where he's doing Nothing in Common, where he's doing other films where there's a dramatic tinge to him, and he's trying to break free here and there. I don't think this is a perfect example of that, but it's at least showing him trying to show that he can do other things. I agree with you, though. It's difficult to make that man unlikable. No matter, A Man Called Otto is a decent movie, and the whole movie, you're supposed to kind of dislike him as much as you can, and it's really hard. Like, you're not Clint Eastwood, man. You're just not that guy that we can easily root against and then switch to.
I didn't realize that that's the conceit of his latest film. But like, what are
a little bit.
Why? Just like Tom Hanks. I mean, we've talked about this now several times this month. Tom Hanks is the equivalent of like an American folk hero at this point. Like, he's larger than life. I'm not sure that there are any actors working right now larger than him, visibility wise in the world. Frankly, if you think of American cinema, you probably think of Tom Hanks. If you're international, I would think, I mean, unless you're thinking of like Marvel and franchise stuff, Tom Hanks, I think, has kind of crossed all boundaries, it would seem, as an actor. At least that's my perception.
Yeah, he definitely has, especially with his acting. I mean, he's proved time and time again he's actually a fantastic actor, but he also has won audience endearment, which is such a hard thing to capture, especially to hold on to. Because, I mean, The Rock had it for like 5 years, and now people are turning against him. I mean, it's hard to keep that, and he's had it his whole career. And I think part of that is he's held on to that movie star staple of mystery. He doesn't do too much in the public eye. He's not, doing too much against any one thought or process. He's very broad in his appeal. He's a universally beloved icon, which is hard to do. I mean, there aren't many actors that have accomplished what he's accomplished over their career. And to make that switch from absolutely comedic actor, where it's basically like hijinks and ridiculousness and everything, that's the beginning of his career, and then segue into 2 Oscar wins back to back, and then becoming this just revered actor. I mean, that's just unheard of.
To the point now where if you were cast in a movie like this now, people would be like, what the fuck are you doing with Tom Hanks?
Yeah, And I still want to see it, though. I still want to see it.
Well, and that's the thing about Tom Hanks now. I mean, he's just, it's I don't want to say he does Oscar bait roles, but he does high acting. He does acting with a capital A. And I mean, that's fine. But I mean, one of my favorite Tom Hanks performances is Dragnet. Like, I love him in that movie. Too. He's so much fun in that movie, but
he's got to be on cocaine, right? Like, he's got to
be. I mean, it feels like it. I can't imagine him taking a bump or two, but like, that Tom Hanks of my mind doesn't do that. But I mean, more than likely, probably was. I don't know. You can't be as chill as Tom Hanks without hitting the weed every now and then, right? Like, he's not. Yeah. And you know what?
He's an interesting guy.
I mean, he is, because then genuinely, I guess he's a real good person too, which we've kind of talked about this month as well. And like, I'm assuming you haven't heard anything differently than I have. He's like a good person, I think, too, which is even wilder to think about.
I mean, they always tell you, never meet your heroes. And there's a reason for that. And there's probably like 2 or 3 actors where I please God, don't have any, or please whoever you believe in, whatever deity you believe in, don't make Tom Hanks a bad guy. Just don't have some secret a child dominatrix club or whatever the hell some of these Hollywood guys have. And him and Kurt Russell, I mean, those are really the 2. Let's just keep them golden. Let's keep them golden.
Yeah. Kurt Russell, too. That's that's another fair one. Yeah. What about Ed Begley Jr., huh? Is that another one?
I could see some weird shit in his closet.
Jeff Goldblum, maybe. What about him? He
absolutely has got some weird shit in his closet. Something's going on in his house.
Yeah.
He's got a rubber room.
Yeah, right. It's Jeff Goldblum's Red Room of Love.
It is.
I do wonder, though, because, I think this movie starts working when Tom Hanks is able to be charismatic and charming. I want to know why they didn't cast Dan Aykroyd in this movie as the Tom Tuttle role, because that feels like a Dan Aykroyd role. That like unhinged energy is just, and like that weird thing where all of a sudden it's like the next scene, John Candy gets captured. And then the next scene, he's a communist. Like it works for John Candy kind of, but if I imagine the other actor in my head, Dan Aykroyd, I just think he was probably too old at the time.
I think Aykroyd in the 80s would have nailed that for sure. I think he would have nailed it. But on the same token, I mean, it's a reuniting of Splash, and it's bringing those two, because those two had that big hit. So I think they got along well, and
I've never
seemed
seen
like a
Splash.
natural mesh. What?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's why that's why the two of them on screen doesn't necessarily mean a lot to me. It's like, I mean,
great Tom Hanks. Have you ever seen Nothing in Common? That's my favorite Tom Hanks.
I have not.
Story. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic father-son comedy drama.
Interesting. Is he the son or the father?
Tom Hanks is the son, and it's Jackie Gleason as his father.
Oh, okay.
They've never gotten along, and now his parents are getting a divorce, and he's got a career, and he's trying to juggle. It's really where he started to tackle both heavier drama, and it's a great film.
Interesting. I don't dislike John Candy in this movie. I think my issue is just like the role John Candy is playing. I mean, again, written to be kind of unlikable, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Again, there's not really there is a villain in this movie, but again, like
it's the writer.
The writers of the film are the fucking enemies of the film. I mean, Tim Thomerson is meant to be the villain of the piece, obviously, or I guess Chung Mi is. But again, like I would agree with you that the script feels really all over the place. Just more than anything else. I mean, Tom Hanks, John Candy, Rita Wilson, all fantastic actors in their own right. I mean, everybody in this movie is. It feels like, to your point, you kind of mentioned it at the top of this, it feels like they wanted to be satirical. And they do hit it. They do hit it sometimes, but I don't think they hit it with enough frequency to call it a success.
Yeah, I mean, when I say I enjoy it enough. It's just like a matinee. It comes on TV. Okay, I can stop and watch it. It's not one where I would recommend it to friends. If you want a good Tom Hanks movie, we've talked about better ones, but I don't think it's awful either. I think it's enjoyable enough, but I guess part of it is you watch it through today. I mean, it's hard not to watch it through today's lens, right? And there's a lot of caricatures, I'm trying to phrase it nicely, that are, teetering on offensive, I think, in many respects. And now some of it can be funny because, they're taking the piss out of certain things, but some of it is just plain offensive. So.
Well, and, obviously, anytime you have characters that are white going into Southeast Asia in the 80s, it's ripe for what is it?
The white savior complex.
Well, and also turning the R's into L's and, all of, I mean, they don't do it a whole lot in the movie, thankfully, but
they did do it though.
They did do it. Scenes, yeah. Like when they go and visit Chung Mi, I heard him do it a couple times and I was like, oh my God, movie, like for fuck's sake, really? Well, I mean, again, like you can mine comedy without it. At
that time, it wasn't as big a deal as it is today. I mean, so they didn't see the offense that they should have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you have Getty Watanabe in the movie kind of doing. He's great, but he's kind of he's part of it, right? He's part and parcel to all the things that are going on, but he ends up kind of being my favorite part of the movie just because he's so endearing. I feel like, but again, it's just him though, as an actor more than anything else. Like
him and Rita Wilson are the most likable characters in the whole movie. I mean, he's always there trying to save Lawrence's life at all. He's when the assassin is basically trying to take Lawrence out and he's totally oblivious to any of this because he's just thinking about making some love. And he comes jumping in left and right, trying to save his life. I mean, that's a friend right there. That's a best friend.
So Tom Hanks and John Candy and Rita Wilson get to a small village in Thailand, and they're tasked with building a bridge to the other side of the river, which that's a spoof of like half of these like movies that were coming out in, the quote, the high time of epic films. I mean, it's trying to have this epic feel to it, right? Especially the way the bridge is shot and the way they shoot the building of the bridge and then the destruction of the bridge. Like it feels very much part and parcel with a movie being made and a kind of movie that just isn't made anymore. And I appreciate that that's what they were going for. But again, the success of that is, I think it's more successful than some of the things are in the movie. I don't think the movie is poorly shot. I don't think the movie is poorly acted or cast. I think it's poorly written. I think it's just kind of this bizarre, convoluted script of you send Tom Hanks and these people to go do something. And in the meantime, obviously, we have these other machinations going on with the Americans and the communists and the black marketeers, but it never feels cohesive. It never feels like one cohesive story. It feels like all these other things going on. Yeah, and when John Candy, Rita Wilson, and Tom Hanks are on screen together, that should be the time where the movie really like hums along. And for whatever reason, Tom Hanks's character and John Candy's character never feel like they, I don't know, like even by the end of the movie, Tom Hanks and John Candy, like I don't believe that those characters would want to have anything to do with each other.
Absolutely not. That makes me, I agree with you 1,000%. I don't understand. Here are three things I don't get. I don't understand why Giri Watanabe is following him around because he's really treated him like shit most of the movie. Rita Wilson, why do you love him? Why does he love you? When did this happen? You guys this came out of nowhere. It just like went to 0 to 60 like that. And okay. I guess because he's got a bar. When you own a bar, that's
because he's the only white guy in the middle of nowhere that's not John Candy. And John Candy's a fat schlub, so she could never love him. I mean, I don't know what other reason other than he's literally fucking insane and a total Boy Scout, but like, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely. And the third thing, John Candy, I like the joke where you captured me and I'm not going to turn. And then the next thing he's like, I'm leading the troops. I mean, I thought that was actually really funny, but I don't get why any of them like him. I mean, he's not typical. He starts the movie very John Candy, like, okay, this is a guy that I'm used to seeing John Candy do. And then by the end of the movie, I'm like, I don't really like this character anymore, which is hard to do because John Candy's a hard guy to not love.
Right. He does that thing in the first scene where they meet him where and it's like not a thing human beings actually do, where he's talking over the entire scene, even though Tom Hanks is not paying attention to him anymore. That to me is like a John Candy thing, right?
It is. Yeah,
totally. And like, that's the only time in the movie where I'm like, that's John Candy. That's the John Candy bringing John Candy's energy to the role. Everything else is just like anybody else could have done this, like gets into the jungle and goes crazy bit. I mean, again, like anybody we see, and better. And it's not like it's a really creative story beat. I mean, Jesus Christ, Apocalypse Now. I mean, the Heart of Darkness and everything like it are always going in that direction of you go into the jungle and you might, face something you can't deal with.
Sure.
And John Candy's character, I guess, is the personification in this movie of that. But to what end? By the end of it, he just goes crazy, I guess. Like,
and I think that's the play that they're trying to do. That's why, I say it's satirical. It just doesn't hit the beats they're trying to hit. Because Nicholas Meyer directed it. He's a talented director. He did Time After Time, Wrath of Khan. I mean, so he's got some real credits behind him. He can direct. It just didn't work. And I feel like you definitely have John Candy here because you're trying to recreate Splash Magic. That didn't happen. You don't have those two characters interacting enough to even make it sensible, really. And yeah, it's just that part's disappointing. I feel like this was a movie that's almost made like how movies are made today, where the screenplay wasn't done when they showed up and they just started writing on set.
I mean, it feels like it because, again, it feels so rudderless as a movie. And you mentioned, Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks's quote romance unquote. It literally is one scene she hates him, the next scene she doesn't. The Coca-Cola product placement scene notwithstanding, which is like so fucking shameless.
They got a lot of flack for that, I think, when that came out. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, because Columbia Pictures was fucking owned by Coca-Cola at the time. Mm-hmm. So, but like, it was like, would you like a Coca-Cola? Like, but I mean, that notwithstanding, like that scene literally comes out of nowhere. It makes no sense. Like there was not a character progression that made sense to get to that scene where she is all of a sudden smitten with him because he has spent the entire movie up until that point trying to fuck his real life eventual wife, which
isn't it shocking they have no chemistry? I think it's shocking they have no chemistry on screen.
It is shocking that two people that have, again, like we talked about with Tom Hanks earlier, seemingly a nice guy, has been with Rita Wilson forever now at this point. I mean,
long time.
They're still together now, and they have no chemistry.
And that's Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Like the only
it's not like a real marriage. That's like Hollywood marriage,
right? It's like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. You guys have been together how long?
How does that make sense?
I know, but at the same time, like it is weird because Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson on screen together, it's like I know that they're together in real life, but for whatever reason, it's unbelievable here.
It is. I like Rita Wilson though. I actually think she's pretty good in this movie, as far as what she can do with the script. But I don't understand how she fell in love with him, and I definitely don't understand why he turned. Because like you were talking about earlier, it's this journey for his character, and it's supposed to be a redemption arc at the end, and da. And okay, great, but I don't understand the turn because he's ready to shag the assassin like 5 minutes ago, and suddenly he's like, oh wait, hey, I love her. Where's she at? Let's go risk my life to save her. That is not the character that we have known to that point,
right?
At all.
And I don't understand what is the point of writing your character in such a way where the audience is expecting a redemptive arc. You want him to have a redemptive arc, but you're not willing to put in any time and effort to give him the redemption. You just want him to be there already. And like, look, again, like I don't think you can make a movie where Tom Hanks is unlikable at the beginning and likable at the end. That's perfectly fine. But you need to write your movie where the journey to getting from unlikable to likable makes sense. And the movie feels like they were just on set. They realized, oh yeah, Tom Hanks is a charismatic actor who we don't dislike. So let's get him to be likable faster. Like be likable faster. Like just cut out whatever. It feels like they cut out part of the script. It's like there were like 2 or 3 scenes maybe that they didn't shoot or they shot and were on the cutting room floor of her having a moment where she like looks over and shares a glance with him or just something. It's because just
she's all into Tim Thomerson's character for a big portion of the movie. Then suddenly like, you know what? I don't want this big strapping manly man. I actually kind of like Lawrence here, who's treated me like crap and abused, people of color for the last 25, 35 minutes.
I mean, well, then they just have to make Tim Thomerson a complete psychotic. That's how they make him look. By comparison, Tom Hanks is better because he doesn't have a name for his knife.
Mike, this is Mike.
This is me and Mike are going to have a good time. Like, okay, so this guy is actually off the fucking reservation. Like,
I do love how he just strokes that knife. Like he loves that knife. He very much treats it like a woman.
I really like Tim Thomerson.
I do too.
In this movie, he's trying to think what else I've seen him in. I saw him in, I think, in an episode.
Transfers?
I've seen him in an episode of Twilight Zone 1985. I think is where I've seen.
Okay. Well, he did the Transfer series. That's really his biggest claim to fame. He was more of a character actor, but he was a good actor. He just never really broke out like a lot of guys in the 80s didn't.
I mean, he's good here. He's intimidating here. He's physically intimidating. He's a big dude, I guess, or he's shot to be a big dude. He looks like a big dude. I'm not sure he actually is a big guy, but
he's not a big guy, no. But right. he is imposing. He's very much got that Stephen Lang.
Yes,
vibe, where he's just kind of this grizzled old guy who looks like he could probably kick your ass without blinking.
And the funny thing is the Tim Thomerson thing. I saw him in on Twilight Zone. I'm pretty sure he's playing like a comedian, like a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what I'm talking? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Funny.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy. Yep.
He is. And honestly, when I saw that he was in this, I was like, okay, so he's gonna bring some comedy to it, and he does. It's just it wasn't what I was expecting. That is very much not the role I was expecting him to play. But I think he's really. I mean, it's a really good role, and it totally works in this movie. It's just it feels like he is in a different movie. I mean, that can work. If he's coming in to be this disruptive force into the narrative of the film, and he kind of is, but his character verges on being from a different kind of movie altogether.
I think they're all in the wrong movie. I think none of them are in the same movie. I can tell you that. Like none of them seem like they're in the same world. Watanabe, I will say, it's probably the only time I've seen him where I didn't feel like, okay, they didn't make him be a caricature. I actually feel like he's the least caricature role he's played. I mean, in Vamp, he's quite the caricature, and 16 Candles, What's Happening, Hot Stuff. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, here he's kind of straightforward, which is one of the few times I can remember him being like that. But everybody else is all over the place.
I like him a lot. I mean, he's really endearing, obviously, and I think he has some of the funnier lines in the movie. What did we learn, good. Dorothy? which I think is like the funniest goddamn line in the entire movie. It makes no fucking sense. Like, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Like, it's just such a. That's my favorite line.
Yeah. You know what mine was?
Dorothy?
Mine was Lawrence when he's talking. And it's not that I can't help these people. It's just I don't want to. That was fantastic. I couldn't stop laughing.
I do think that, obviously, again, watching it through 2023 vision and trying to suspend that as long as we can is hard. But yeah, there's a lot of anti-Asian sentiment in this movie, as one might put it, or not anti-Asian, but it wouldn't be viewed as politically correct, if we want to use that term, or in good taste, I think is a better way of putting it, maybe, or problematic, as they say today. It didn't go as far as I thought it would go, but it kind of pokes at it. It wants to have fun with it, which I get, but it feels like there was other directions to mine the comedy. It's a very low-hanging fruit.
It is a low-hanging fruit. I do think they are trying to also do kind of both sides too. So I mean, the villagers and whatnot, they're treating fairly respectfully, but everybody on the opposing forces, they're mocking pretty heavily. I mean, even the leader with his ridiculous toupee, which I love when Tom Hanks makes fun of his hair. I mean, or if it's toupee, I hope it is. I don't feel bad about that, but just making fun of his hair and things like, I mean, just all those little things. And time is money and all that part. I mean, mocking his accent a little bit. There was a lot of, they made fun of the opposing forces more than they did anything with the people they were supposedly helping.
Right. Well, and that is the thing I appreciate, because that's, that is the easy direction to go. It's like, well, they're in this village and, oh my God, they're eating weird things. And, go the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom route and have them eating wild things. And Tom Hanks, going off and puking in a bush. They don't do any of that, thankfully. Yeah,
they wanted to.
I'm sure I'm sure they did, frankly. I wouldn't be, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised. But I do find it kind of strange. And again, it kind of feels like it gets lost in the film pretty quickly that they're in the Peace Corps. It feels like, because they make such a big deal of it at the beginning with Xander Berkeley. And he's like, I'm going to the Peace Corps. A very young Xander Berkeley, might I add. Jesus.
I didn't even recognize it. I love 24, but I did not recognize that was him until after. And I'm looking at the cast list. I'm like, that was Berkeley? He had hair.
This was what, 85? He was born in 55, so he was 30, just smack on 30 at the time. But they make such a big deal out of the, it's the Peace Corps, we're going for the Peace Corps. And then there's just the three of them, and that's it. Like, what?
The Peace Corps didn't send a lot of people at the time. And I think they endorsed this, if I remember right. Like I think the Peace Corps endorsed this movie,
I think the guy from the Peace Corps read it, and they
No, he wanted a bunch of stuff taken out. They didn't take any of that stuff out. And then I think the Peace Corps ultimately still endorsed them or something like that. If I remember the history right, I could be wrong. So
God, why would they endorse this movie?
Makes people interested in the Peace Corps, maybe. I mean, I don't know why, because they did nothing to help those villagers at all. In fact, they built them a bridge, or made them build a bridge, and then blew it the hell up. So it's like, what did you do? You were there this whole time. You did nothing. Absolutely nothing except cause some chaos in their village.
Well, I wish there had been a little bit more of an inkling of an idea of kind of the underpinnings and kind of the sideways machinations going on, because that comes into the movie so late, where it's like, okay, we're going to, now that the two sides are connected, we're going to use it as a way to move the opium from one side of the bridge to the other, or, I guess allow the Americans to get from one side. It's never even made clear what the hell's the point of the bridge is. They could have just, why didn't they just have somebody else build the bridge? I just, why all the secrecy? Why all the Peace Corps? Why all of this? This seems like the most inefficient way to do any of this, even by our government standards, who Tim Thomerson is supposedly working for.
Yeah. And here's the thing that drives me nuts about this plot, and I use that term loosely, is You've got this tyrant has this giant castle and has all these men. So he can easily just walk over there and say, you guys build a bridge, and make them do it, as opposed to manipulating Tom Hanks to do it. I don't understand that plan. I mean, time is money.
He has a literal villain's castle, like a castle up on the hill that there's a road to, like Count fucking Dracula. He has a castle.
Yeah.
It's almost like it couldn't even, it's like it couldn't exist 5 minutes from where our characters are, because there's no way they wouldn't see it. Like,
but we got Tom Hanks got there, like Lawrence got there, and Chung-Mi like meets with him. So obviously he could get to the village and just make them build the bridge. I don't understand why we need Peace Corps to do it secretly under the down low. Why the CIA is what the fuck is this? What is the point here?
That is ultimately my biggest issue with this movie is, what is the point of any of this? This is not how you write a movie about the Peace Corps. This is not the conflict in a Peace Corps movie. I mean, I guess it could be, and maybe they're commenting on the United States meddling in affairs of other countries all over the world at the time. It's not like we've stopped, but again, like, maybe that's what they're going for, but I'm not going to do the work for the movie. It's not my job. It's their job.
It's not. And I feel like the only argument that one could make in terms of the story they went with is that America and Chung-Mi wanted the Peace Corps to be involved in building the bridge so that they couldn't be looked at as they were the ones responsible. I guess that's possibly because they were both going to use it for nefarious reasons, right? And it's all about the opium and da-da-da. So I guess that's the only way you could spill it, but I still think it's stupid because it's not like reporters were on site. Who the hell's going to know?
Right. Some little Thailand village in the literal middle of nowhere. Like, it almost feels like Tom Hanks and John Candy and Rita Wilson's characters are just in the way more than anything else. Like, Tim Thomerson could just show up and be like, do this for me. Point a gun at them and be like, or with his knife and be like, I'm going to kill you if you don't do this. Like, all right, we'll do it then.
He does. He just pops up out of nowhere like he is Dracula. So.
Right. But I mean, like, if he wanted them, like, just like Chung-Mi, he could just get them to build it for him. He has the means. He could just be like, I've got all my troops here that are coming anyways. Just build the goddamn bridge for us. We don't care. Do it. And then when it's done, we'll leave you alone.
That is just forced circumstantial. It's all it is. It's just like, none of it makes sense, and it's just things happen to drive the like. Why did you take Rita Wilson back to the castle? Why did you drug her and take her back? There's no reason for that other than I guess you like her a lot. Sure, but it just causes more problems that don't make any more sense. And
well, and you know what I think the way to kind of maybe fix this movie, or at least kind of maybe correct the narrative lacking, is make it so that Tim Thomerson's character essentially Shanghai's the R3 main characters away from the Peace Corps. So it's like, to the effect where, like, at the end of the movie, it's like the Peace Corps people show up and they're like, where were you guys? Do you know what I mean? Where like Tim Thomerson like takes them just because, like, I need 3 kind of patsies to do my work for me. So he's there waiting for them at the airport, and the actual Peace Corps people are off to the side. And then it's kind of like, well, they've gotten themselves into something that they need to get themselves out of by no fault of their own, more as opposed to like, this is where they were supposed to be. This is what they were supposed to be doing. And all these things were happening at the time anyways. This would be more like it was kind of a put upon them and they didn't realize they weren't supposed to be there. That would, I think, at least ease some of the kind of narrative problems of this doesn't make any sense if you think about it for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, as opposed to Lawrence's redemption arc that makes no sense, goes nowhere. The tone's all over the place. I don't understand where we are half the time. Yeah, that would make more sense.
And John Candy disappears for like a third of the movie too. It's just like,
and nobody goes to look for him. Like, nobody cares.
Well, he's just off in the bush. Yeah. That's how little they like him. That's how much they dislike this man. As they're like, he might be dead, but who gives a fuck anyways?
When he finally comes back, and he's undercover or whatever, and Tom Hanks just sees him and just has a look of disgust, like, thought we were done with you.
He pops out from behind a tree, literally. Yeah. He just goes, hey, everybody, I'm back. It's like, wow, I guess we didn't have a better way to write him back into the script, huh? Just in the script, in walks John Candy from stage right. Like, okay, like, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's not often that I have a complaint with a movie that is almost just the plot entirely and just the narrative that the story builds, because most of the time it's minor things, but this narrative almost from the start feels doomed to just not waste our time but have ultimately nothing to say. The conclusion of this movie is I didn't believe anything.
He's a changed man. He's changed.
He's a changed man living in Thailand.
Yeah, and he's got, I assume he'll have a Asian accent soon. I mean, he can't keep his own.
Oh my God. Yeah. You mentioned it, but let's talk a little bit about Tom Hanks's accent. What the fuck?
I liked it at the beginning because he's definitely coming across as a Yale snob, upper class. I'm better than you. But
his dad is literally George Plimpton. His dad is literally George Plimpton.
I did read that he modeled a lot of his accent on George Plimpton himself. So, I mean, I think he's trying to mock him and mimic him in the same breath. But he kept forgetting who he was at various points in the movie.
I mean, when he went to Thailand, he just didn't have to do the accent anymore. They didn't know.
Sure. But it does come up and back. It like comes back and forth. It does show up every now and again. I'm like, what? So do we have it still? It's kind of like, it's like watching Kevin Costner.
Oh my God. Kevin Costner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's the inverse of Tom Hanks for me. I cannot stand Kevin Costner.
Oh, really?
No.
Not a fan, huh?
Not at all.
Now watching Yellowstone?
No, and by all accounts, he won't be watching himself in Yellowstone for much longer. So
yeah, that's what I've heard.
Look, I understand why people like Kevin Costner, but he's never resonated with me. But
sure, I get it.
Like, for me, Tom Hanks normally does. And in this movie, he didn't resonate with me at all, regardless of the accent he's doing. It's just so, I don't know. It feels like the wrong direction to go with someone who's as immensely talented as Tom Hanks is. I mean, yeah, I know Big hasn't come out yet at this point, but Splash has already come out at this point. So people know what to expect with Tom Hanks.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't think the writers, I don't know, the writers aren't like, Ken Levine and David Isaacs have worked on plenty of television, funny television too. It's not like they're not good at what they do. I just think too many ideas were probably thrown out. Wouldn't it be funny if he made a casino in Thailand? Wouldn't it be funny if there was the bridge and they had to blow it up like Bridge on the River Kwai? Wouldn't it be funny? It's like at some point you got to cut some of this down, of this out.
They even had the bar that Lawrence is, and they start playing. Was it As Time Goes By? Like a Casablanca reference. I mean, it's just like there's so many homages to other movies, and this movie never comes close to it. But it's trying, I guess. The thing with Tom Hanks is like I think they cast him hoping he would help the movie coast by on charm, which he does everything he can. Like there are still moments in the movie where I'm like, that's the Tom Hanks I love. There's a lot of the line deliveries that I liked. Please, can I go home? Please, can I go home? I mean, that's like little Tom Hanks isms. And, you can't save a movie that wasn't written strongly.
No, and no matter what Tom Hanks does, he can't lift everybody else around him and the script. He can lift everybody else around him if it's a good script, but if the script is lacking, you're not going to be able to do much. And it doesn't strike me like there was a lot of ad-libbing on set. Let the cameras roll and we'll let the funny people do what they want. It's like nobody was doing that here. So. And that's ultimately kind of the biggest shame of this movie is, I mean, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's not a short watch either.
No.
If it were an hour and a half, maybe I'd be sitting here and going, well, it's still a Tom Hanks movie and it's still funny, but you could watch Dragnet. I'm assuming Splash is so much better than this, right? I mean, it has to be.
Oh, Splash is fantastic. It really is. And it's also heartwarming. It's a romance. It's comedy. I mean, it's very good. I don't hate this movie. I don't dislike it. It's enjoyable enough. I see so much more potential in what it could have been. It could have been really interesting, really insightful. You could have given me some kind of glimpse into real Peace Corps life instead of whatever this was.
Well, that's what I mean about like them being taken away by the Peace Corps. Like if they're going to do this anyways, why actually pretend that it's the Peace Corps? Like,
sure.
Why not just have it be again, a bad movie to quote, but Meet the Deedles does something similar where they're like, they show up and they're supposed to go to this reform camp and they go with the wrong person and, and all this crazy shit happens. Like that would be a way. Right. Like, again, like that's what the movie wants anyways. I don't think, or maybe the movie does want to tell a serious story about Peace Corps life, but sure didn't seem like it did to me. So why even try? Like, why not just give yourself a narrative out and be like, well, they got kidnapped by a crazy military asshole unbeknownst to them. Because it kind of feels like it anyways. They just go off with Tim Thomerson. Like everybody else leaves and they're just like, all right, well, we're going with this guy. The three of us. Well, there was a plane full of people and just us three are going with him. Like
I said, I think they were trying to be a satire. I think Nicholas Meyer has a better handle on drama than he does comedy. And they just kind of got over their head. They cast at the time, two very comedic actors. And then didn't give either one of them anything relatable to what they were successful for or known for to really jump off of.
Well, and John, I mean, the role that John
Candy was wasted. He was wasted.
Well, that was the role that John Candy is doing could have been the other saving grace of the movie if they had thought to include him in the movie.
Yeah,
it's so weird to me how little he's in this movie, but how much he's on the poster, both the theatrical poster, I mean, you can go watch this on HBO Max right now. I mean, it's easy. I mean, it's HBO movie. It was produced by them in silver screen. So you can go watch it on HBO Max right now. And it's Hanks and John Candy on the essentially the streaming poster for it. It should just be Tom Hanks. Like, of all the things with this movie that really are the problem, the fact that it's a Tom Hanks movie where he's meant to rely on and bounce jokes off of someone who is as funny as John Candy is, and they don't even want to do that. They don't have. It's more Tom Hanks and Gedde Watanabe, which is fine. It ends up being that Gedde Watanabe is almost, one might say, one of the better parts, if not the best part of this movie. But you can't help but wonder, if John Candy had been in the movie more, would that have just been the case with his character?
It could have been. Watanabe, like, I feel like he doesn't get enough appreciation overall, but this definitely showcased. I mean, the guy's talented, and he was a good comedic partner to Hanks, because when they're in a scene together, I feel like the movie works better. I really do. I really feel like a movie works much better when those two are together, playing off of each other in different ways.
I agree. I mean, he's not childlike, but he has that kind of
innocence.
Yeah, that Tom Hanks's character doesn't have. I mean, again, Tom Hanks's character is gambling and he's kind of lecherous and, again, not inherently likable, I don't think, throughout most of the movie. But Gedde Watanabe, from the moment you're introduced to him, he is written rather innocently as a character that you're meant to resonate with as the audience. And I think it works. Why have John Candy in your movie then? Like,
absolutely. And when you want to know, this is back to the beginning of the movie. It just occurred to me. No, they're having the poker game at the beginning, right? And I'm trying, for the life of me, this is another thing where I'm just like, whoa, I don't understand why this is a problem. Where the guy that he's beaten in poker, because he outbluffs him, he gets pissed that he bluffed him. I don't understand what you're so mad about. That's literally what poker's about. I just don't. It was one of those scenes where I'm like, why is he so mad? I mean, he just obviously has temper issues. He should not be playing this game at all. All they needed to do was give him one line where he's like, "You can't leave after one hand like that," and then it would have made sense. Yeah, one of those. Yeah,
right.
You got to give us a chance to win our money back. One of those things.
The Sopranos thing. It's like, oh, you're leaving now before I can win my money back. No, instead and that's the thing. Like, even the setup is kind of hokey. Like, I would like to believe that his father would not get him out of a tight spot, but judging by the way this character is, he's been gotten out of tough spots before, and maybe this is the final one for his dad, but George Plimpton doesn't act as exasperated, and also, like, the threat level at this point is the guy is in your house offering to beat the shit out of your child. Again,
gotta teach that hard lesson. That's what you gotta do.
Boy, 1962 was a different time. Also, that's the thing for me that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. This movie takes place in 1962, everywhere but in the jungle. You know what I mean? It feels so anachronistic. It's so weird. Like, it doesn't feel like it needs to be 1962 anywhere other than the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And there could have been so many things and directions to go with the fact that it's set in the 60s. And they mentioned Kennedy a couple times, but that's it. Once they're in the jungle, what year it's set in is kind of unimportant.
I think that probably because the Peace Corps was big at that time.
Sure.
It's bigger than it definitely was in the 80s. So, I mean, I think that's probably why they chose it.
But wouldn't it have been more interesting to mine the 80s with the Peace Corps?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm trying to help the movie out here. I don't know. I think the movie is not beyond help. I just think, like you've said, just what story are we trying to tell here? We need to treat the movie like Lawrence's dad did and just let it. You know what? You're on your own.
Yeah,
you're on your own.
Have fun out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
and again, I really find it hard to believe that Tom Hanks by the end of the movie would stay in Thailand.
No, he wouldn't. He's just the whole movie wanting out of there. He would have blown the bridge up, said, "Yeah, I'm badass. I still want to go home. I still want to go home." Let's go.
No. But also at the end of the movie, I do like that. Again, the movie kind of gives itself a little bit of an out, because by the end of the movie, it's more or less implied that Tom Hanks is an opium runner in Thailand.
It feels that way. Yeah.
It feels that way.
It sure feels that way.
I don't know if it's implicit or not, but it feels like
that would explain why he stays. He wants that castle. He wants to get that castle, and yeah.
I just wish there had been, I mean, again, like, don't give the character a redemptive arc then, because that's not redemptive at the end of the movie, because you've effectively said, well, he's now taking advantage of these people. I mean, I guess he was anyways with the casino. So
he was, but this is the one thing, this is a big thing that I think isn't addressed in the movie. So I'm sure they've got a boat. They've obviously, Lawrence made it over to his castle. He can make it over there. He's going to kill him in horrible ways for blowing that bridge up. I want to see the sequel because I think it'd be 5 minutes long.
Hey, Lawrence, bang, the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember Rita Wilson, you're a sex slave now. Bye.
Yeah.
Volunteers 2, 5 minutes.
I mean, I don't get, it's like the CIA, Tim Thomerson's still alive. Chung Mi's over there. He's still alive. So they can easily just come on over there and kill him whenever they want.
Yeah, the ending should have been more like Tropic Thunder. Like these people are getting away from two forces. Get out of there. Yeah, it's hard to look again. The ending almost is just like the movie throws its hands up and says, "Whatever, didn't matter anyways."
We're out. They found love. We're out.
They found love in the Thailand jungle, folks. Sure. And again, him staying there is one thing, but you could not convince me that Lawrence or Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are any reason to be together at the end of the movie. She would have just been like, I'm out of here.
That they're married in real life anymore. Like I totally don't believe it anymore. She's his beard. That's what it's got to be.
That's where it is. Tom, there is a secret Tom Hanks story. We just don't know it. I'm glad I watched this movie, but man, not a classic. Not a Tom Hanks role. I think anybody is going to say this is my favorite Tom Hanks role.
Oh, put Nothing in Common on your list though. I think that's a great film. I think it's very unappreciated, but it's a great film.
What? So that's kind of how I've been bringing these episodes, at least towards the end, to a close. What other than that movie, kind of wax poetically about Tom Hanks for me? Tell me your thoughts on Mr. Hanks.
I think Tom Hanks. It's funny. I actually like his earlier career better. I prefer the 80s, early 90s. I feel like he really took some chances. Well, he had such impeccable comedic timing. I mean, Bachelor Party, Splash, Big, Nothing in Common, The Burbs. Even here, you can see his timing. Dragnet. God, I loved him in Dragnet. We can talk about that forever. Forrest Gump, he's fantastic. And then he segued into heavier dramatic fare, and he's a wonderful dramatic actor too. But I will always prefer the 80s. And a lot of that is I grew up with it. So I grew up with, how he kind of changed what a leading man looks like, acts like. And I don't think he gets enough appreciation for that. He's just stuck with that everyman moniker, but he's also one of the most versatile thespians that have ever lived, honestly. I mean, Adam Sandler has touches of it. Adam Sandler actually has touches where he can play heavily dramatic fare and he can go back and forth. But Tom Hanks is seamless. I mean, you go look at Philadelphia, you go look at Dragnet, you look at Forrest Gump, and not one of those performances seems anything similar. Where with Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems feels like his other roles, they just took the jokes out. So it's an impressive feat. Tom Hanks is a masterclass in acting for the most part.
I agree with you 100%. I've mentioned this before on other episodes. I'll mention it here. I forget that he's Sheriff Woody. That's just like, you know what I mean? Like that's the role that I grew up with Tom Hanks. And he's just like, it's not a role. Like it's just, that's Sheriff Woody is Tom Hanks. I just often forget that because he's just so good and it's just so ubiquitous and he's so good as that role. But yeah, I mean, again, I didn't grow up with Tom Hanks as a comedy actor. I mean, I grew up with Tom Hanks as effectively a voice actor more than anything else, but
that's interesting.
Right. Like, again, like Sheriff Woody is my entry point for Tom Hanks. I was 5 years old when that movie came out. So
now that you're going back and you're kind of rewatching it, like, do you have a different appreciation for him and what kind of actor he was before he is today?
I mean, so that's the thing. I've seen Dragnet since I was at least 16. Like it was a movie I remember getting. Do you remember this service where you could like send someone else your DVD and then you could get DVDs from other people? I don't remember what the hell it was called, but it was around the time of like OG Netflix, but it was like someone took the Netflix model and was like, if you have a DVD that someone else wants, you can send it to them. And if someone else has a DVD that you want, they'll send it to you and you keep it.
Sounds like eBay.
Right. But it was like all it was like pay for the shipping. Like you're not paying.
I think I remember something about it, but I don't remember doing it.
Right. I remember getting Dragnet through that and watching it a lot. And I don't know why. I don't know why that movie resonated with me so much. But
great movie.
Right. But for me, like Tom Hanks, it's like that one singular comedic role. And then all the other stuff I had seen him in afterwards, like Catch Me If You Can or The Polar Express, or again, another role that I think everybody's asked me, are you watching Castaway? It's like, no, I'm not watching Castaway. I've seen it one time and I have no interest in revisiting it.
Me either.
But it's one of those things where Tom Hanks has been like fucking everything at this point.
Saving Private Ryan. Oh my God.
He was in the Da Vinci Code.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't put that at the highlighted list, but
it's completely unlike most things he's ever done, really.
His hair sure was.
And I mean, I again, like I know that people may not like his more dramatic stuff, but his more dramatic stuff has carried his career through 2022, 2023. Like that's what he does now more than anything else. It's
too bad. That part's too bad. I wish he would do more comedic. I still would watch another Dragnet movie, even though they're older than dirt. I'd still watch it.
Well, and that's why I like those Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, maybe not the third one. Those were so atypical for Tom Hanks.
Yeah, they were.
Like, in what, 2006 Da Vinci Code comes out, like he's right in the middle of doing all of his, Charlie Wilson's War and The Great Buck Howard and all these just like real movies about real people and their real lives. And it's like, okay, again, nothing wrong with it. It's just, he's such a good actor and he does have range. And it's just weird that the range is limited. He doesn't go and do full comedy anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Like, I can't even remember the last time he did something that was close to a comedy.
Otto has moment. No, it's not. It's a comedy drama, but there's a heavy drama. I mean, it's a lot darker than I thought it was going to be, but he definitely has humor in it too. But it's like that cranky humor. It's kind of like Gran Torino kind of humor. What the hell is the movie that I would keep joking that a man called Harry and Tonto? That's what that movie looks like. Sure. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a man and his cat once again.
It's a good movie though. It actually is a good film. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be.
It's a Tom Hanks movie. How bad? I mean, again, even with Volunteers, how bad is it? Like,
yes, even his bad movie, even Money Pit. I don't like Money Pit, but I still would watch that over so many other. It's still not bad. It's just not good.
What about Mazes and Monsters?
I wouldn't watch that one. Okay, that's probably bad. That's shit.
I'm watching that one later this week.
I'm so sorry for you. I hope you can pull through. You know what? And then go watch the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. I think that'll probably be a lot better.
I like how this is not going to be the low point of this month, I think, by any stretch of the imagination.
Not if you're watching Mazes and Monsters. That movie sucks.
And again, like
not
even
him. It's not him though. He's not the problem with that. It's
right.
The movie.
And again, to be fair, that movie only it's like Volunteers. These movies are only getting mentioned because they're Tom Hanks movies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody, if anybody else had been cast in Volunteers, I don't think anybody would be talking about. There's so many movies from the 80s nobody's talking about anymore. And I'm not sure people are talking about Volunteers. We are, but that's literally because Tom Hanks is in it.
And how far back are you going to go with his collection? Are you going to go back? I think he did like a horror movie in the late 70s or something like that.
I think this is probably as far back as we're going.
Okay. All right.
Wait, probably for the best even. So
I think Mazes and Monsters, wasn't that a TV movie? I don't even know if that was I
think it was.
Yeah, I think it was a TV movie. So that's going to be even worse than I remember.
So I do have to ask you, what is a Tom Hanks role contemporary? Because I know the one that you mentioned that you really like is from like what, 86?
Oh, yeah.
What's a contemporary Hanks role that you're a fan of?
What, man? Lately, it's easier to rattle off the ones I don't like. Elvis, I thought was atrocious.
I don't think anybody's going to argue you on that one.
Jesus, that accent was just horrible.
How is it that a movie can have Tom Hanks in it and he's the worst part? That's all I want to know. Like,
yeah, I would agree with that. It just, I don't understand it. Road to Perdition. That's probably the one I would go with. Yeah, Road to Perdition. It's not really quite modern, but it's newer. It's the last 20 years, I think. And I thought that was a really unappreciated one that he did. More people should definitely see that, where he's basically, a hitman who gets chased down. And it's a darker role, something he doesn't normally Play, which was nice. Finch on Apple was pretty good, if you ever saw that one.
I haven't seen either. I mean, Road to Perdition has been on my list of things to watch forever.
Great film. Like, it's worth watching. It's worth making the time for.
It's based off of a graphic novel or a comic book, right? I mean, this is like completely atypical for Tom Hanks even. So
nothing about that role it says Tom Hanks. And I'm actually really surprised that he made it. And it's got Daniel Craig in it too. So I mean, it's a good cast. It's a great film. And
Jude Law and Paul Newman.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't pick that movie, but I know it's a good role. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've never heard anybody say that's a bad Tom Hanks role. So
you decided to suffer and go with Mazes and Monsters?
No, I haven't heard any. Well, Mazes and Monsters, somebody picked that one specifically. that was not a choice of mine. But that
means they like it. Does that mean they like that movie?
I think they just want to talk about it.
Okay, well, there's stuff to talk about. That's for sure.
Well, just like with Volunteers, right? Like, I'm not sure anybody would claim this is their favorite Tom Hanks movie. And if they do,
no.
God help you. Have you seen nothing else that he's released in the last 30 plus years? Because
he's got a lot of movies.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if you think about Tom Hanks's career, and if he had stayed as the comedic actor, would he have had the success that he has now? That's right. No, he would not have. So. No, because look at Adam Sandler.
Well, here's two things. One, Tom Hanks, his kind of humor, which is really deadpan, kind of sarcastic, I think that died out a little bit because humor always changes. You know, it's all cyclical. Adam Sandler, though I think a lot of his humor died out, he never gets credit. He's one of the smartest actors alive because his brand has lasted so long, and he's the first to do that big Netflix deal that has paid off for him in dividends over and over and over again for, another 10 years. He extended his career like nobody thought was possible. And he did it right at the moment where he was starting to wane, and he reached more homes that way. So, I mean, he gets a lot of flack too, but man, he should get a lot more credit than he does.
I mean, I don't dislike Adam Sandler. Again, you want to talk about somebody with good early movies. I mean, Adam Sandler's first couple like big movies, can't beat those. They're still pretty funny. Happy Gilmore, still funny. The Waterboy, still funny.
Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
I've seen that movie once. The one that I go to bat for is Little Nicky.
Really?
It's a weird movie, man, but it's best thing Quentin Tarantino's ever done.
Can't argue with that. If you mean acting wise,
I just mean in general, across the board.
What?
That is the opportunity of my lifetime would be to sit in a room with Tarantino and ask him about his role in Little Nicky and nothing else.
That he wouldn't be able to handle it. His ego would explode.
Tell me more about your role as the crazy preacher in Little Nicky. That's all I care about. I know you've done other things, but
do you not want to hear about my books, my films that I've written, my thoughts on cinema? What?
Little Nicky. That's it. Thank you for your time. I wonder if I could get an interview with Tarantino if I sent him an email specifically like that. I want to talk about one thing and one thing only.
You might. That might be enough for him to be curious enough to check it out. It's possible.
Yeah, but then I'm associated with Mike White, and then that's when the red flags start going up.
Yeah, he and I have a completely different opinion on Tarantino, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
And I get it, but I agree with you about Adam Sandler because his brand has kind of outlived the time that it would have made sense for it to keep existing. Like
it's that rarity because comedy doesn't, a certain kind of comedy never lasts that long. It's always cyclical. It's like 10, 15 years. And then the kind of, it's either goes broader, it goes wilder, it just goes different in some way, and Adam Sandler's been consistent throughout his career. He's been just ridiculous characters left and right. I mean, he's got the same guys with him that have been with him for 25 years, and he's been able to extend his life in cinema that way through that Netflix deal. And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He doesn't get any credit for it at all.
And some of his friends have actually made halfway decent movies because I go to bat for Grandma's Boy like nobody's business.
Grandma's Boy is actually pretty funny.
Hell yeah, it is. It's one of those movies that was successful on DVD and essentially nowhere else. So.
And I like some of this murder mystery. I thought was entertaining. I mean, he makes some decent comedies.
Makes movies on Netflix that people are watching when they've got nothing else going on, right? Like that's a Netflix movie. It's like, oh, all right, I'll watch Hubie Halloween or whatever the fuck that. You know what I mean? I saw Ridiculous Six, but I mean, again, I don't think Tom Hanks, if he had stayed as a comedian, I don't know what his career would have been.
He would have phased out. I think. I honestly think he probably would have phased out. I feel like, and they say comedic actors are typically, those in comedy are great dramatic actors. I mean, look at Robin Williams. I mean, that's a prime example. And it just it's just proven here because he really was a comedic actor for a long time. And then he finally segued to a thespian, like a real actor. And I think that saved his career and extended it by a long time.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, like back to back. And then, I mean, it's Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, and then Apollo 13. And it's like those three things together kind of change your career. Because like if you do just Philadelphia, right? It's like, all right, he did it. All right, he got one. But if he does Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, like then it's a different story. But then it's Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, and Apollo 13. And I think that Apollo 13 was like this. That was the second time he'd worked with Ron Howard again. And it's like a completely different, because Splash has nothing to do with astronauts, best I could tell, unless I've been led to believe it's about something else.
Yeah. Mermaids from space. I don't know, maybe, but mermaids. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really fun going back and watching these Tom Hanks movies because, like Dragnet was my point of reference for Tom Hanks comedy, but he is a funny guy. And I feel like Very funny. Person, he's a funny person too.
He is. He's an interesting person. I mean, I do feel as he's gotten older, which I think happens with a lot of actors, they kind of, you spend your whole career hearing how amazing you are. So you start sucking up the air in interviews. And I think he's gotten to that point where if you hear an interview, the interviewer never gets to speak because he just talks for the whole time. And
oh, really?
A little bit. Yeah. It happens with almost every celebrity, I feel like. But I've noticed that a lot. It used to be an interview. It felt like a conversation when he was an interviewee. And it was really fun and upbeat. Now I feel like it's more of a Tom Hanks monologue. So,
he loves the way his own cologne smells in a nice way of putting it. For him versus some other people with their farts. So
literally shows up on every podcast, I'm sure, and they just start with, "You're the most amazing thing, Tom Hanks," and
I love you in literally everything you've ever done.
Yep.
No shit.
You never fail me. You never fail me. Please don't have any secrets.
Well, and that's the thing. Like with someone like Tom Hanks, you can't be kind of like snide about it. You have to be effusive and thank you for because again, like you said, you really have to lean on the perception. And like we've said, I mean, his perception in the public, I think, is well earned by him, if that makes sense. Like he's spent the last 30 plus years cultivating it. So, but man, I would honestly love to see someone who's like 15 or 16 watching a Tom Hanks movie where he's a comedian. Cause like, I think it would he's doing funny things. I think it would blow their mind, frankly.
I made my kids watch those movies. I did. I mean, I probably not nice to say I made them, but they enjoyed them. I mean, I made them watch Burbs, Dragnet. I don't know if Splash was in there, but several of the 80s ones, and definitely Nothing in Common. That was pretty common staple in my house. I made my kids watch them when they were little, and they loved them. They loved Dragnet because they loved the song. And they were like, Tom Hanks sings? I'm like, not really. No.
I'm glad to have found yet another person who loves Dragnet as much as I do. That movie's
Dragnet.
It's such a good movie. Like
I can sing that whole song from start to finish, and I'm ashamed of it, but also kind of proud.
I also just love the characters like Emil Muzz, just that name. God, everything about
the Virgin Connie Swale, and then the Dan Aykroyd eyebrow. Just that was just perfectly played.
And God, I was gonna say Max von Sydow. It's Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, it's Christopher Plummer.
God.
Yeah.
Though it could have totally been Max von Sydow, to be fair. I mean, either of those actors totally would have worked in that role. But oh my God, Pagan, yeah, just that might be my favorite, because I was talking about Toy Story, and I think Toy Story is the role where he just melts into that character. But I can't help but just love Dragnet. I saw Dragnet at the right time, and
there's no wrong time. There's no wrong time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Pagan, what is it? People against good normalcy, right?
Yeah. You think? Oh my God. So Aaron, I will give you an opportunity. Your final thoughts on Volunteers.
I think if you've got HBO Max, it can't hurt to watch. If you're looking for a pleasant, sit on the couch, not pay much attention, watch a movie, it's not bad, but there's better Hanks movies to watch. But if you want to see Tom Hanks like do his thing very, very early, and also not do it as well as he does in other movies, then Volunteers is for you.
I have to warn you, I'm not as good as I am elsewhere.
Yes, exactly. This is a low bar. He gets better in other stuff.
I agree with you as someone who's never seen this movie before. It was okay. Again, I don't know if I'll ever revisit it, but it helps further kind of define and broaden my thoughts on Tom Hanks as an actor and what he can and can't do and his limitations. Because I think it's interesting to see a movie where the movie isn't necessarily a success, even though the people in it are successful elsewhere and funny elsewhere and do better things elsewhere. And it's always interesting to see a movie that doesn't work because it helps us understand the movies that do. So I enjoyed this movie as much as I could, but I was wanting for more laughs, unfortunately. But John Candy's on screen for literally 10 minutes is what it feels like. Like John Candy at the end of the movie really makes more sense now. And John Candy is right.
It's very very and.
But I like how he's billed as Tom Tuttle from Tacoma. I feel like that I appreciate that.
I mean, it's an important. I'm telling you, that whole airplane scene, I swear, is an audition for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because it feels like that 10 minutes is the same character. It's literally the same character.
Never seen it.
What? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Really?
Never seen it.
Oh my God. Steve Martin yelling fuck for 5 minutes straight is worth watching that movie alone.
I have seen very little Steve Martin films outside of more like contemporary ones. So
this, next Thanksgiving, put it on your calendar for Kulturecast. Watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I should. I know how well received it was and how much everybody loves it. It's not like I don't know it's a good movie.
Invite me back for that one. I'd love to be part of that. I love that movie.
It's a date. It's another John Candy movie, but he's actually in it this time, folks.
And it's a good one.
The Candy Cast. Bringing you back. I don't even know what John Candy was doing a lot of SCTV. So that's what John Candy was doing for a while.
Yeah, but he had quite a career. I mean, he was going to be famous for a long time if he would have stuck around.
I know. That is the thing I always think about with John Candy. Even in this movie, it's like, man, if only, right? Like, if only this guy was around today. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron, where could people find you on the internet if they wanted to track you down?
Yeah, you can find me and most of the podcasts I do at thehollywoodoutsider.com. That's thehollywoodoutsider.com. I'm a host of the Hollywood Outsider podcast, presenting Hitchcock, and several other things. So you can find them there, thehollywoodoutsider.com.
And as for me, you can find all the stuff that I work on over at weirdingwaymedia.com, which is where all the podcasts that we put together, myself and Mike White and so many other awesome people, that's our network. And that's where you can go to find us. As for this show, Kulturecast.com, Patreon.com, all those things if you want. But hey, all that shit sucks and life's hard and inflation, all those terrible things that we're dealing with that you don't want to think about while you're being entertained. So on that note, Aaron, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a great time.
Maybe next time we'll talk about a better movie. Sounds like there will be a better movie talked about in the future at some point. So
absolutely. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Or Nothing in Common. Do that one too. That's
and cool. As always, we'll catch you on the next episode.